Viewers, on the August occasion of Diwali, we are pleased to have with us Sri Sri Ravishankar ji. He needs no introduction. India's leading spiritual guru, a leading philosophical light of our nation. And on the Festival of Lights, we are going to ask him some questions to illuminate our understanding. Sri Sri Ravishankar ji, thanks for speaking to Times Now and to me. As the world celebrates one of the biggest festivals in the East and in perhaps the entire world, why don't you talk about the Festival of Lights in larger perspective and the different aspects of the celebrations?
Yeah, Diwali is the most recognized festival around the world, and wherein not just the Hindus, but the Sikhs, the Jains, the Buddhists, everyone participates. Like Lord Buddha said, Appa Deepo, be a light unto yourself. It is connected with many events, memorable events from our history. Of course, it's the day we celebrate as Rama returning back to Ayodhya. So Ramayana has a significant role here in the Diwali festival. Is connected with Ramayana, and then it's also connected with Lord Sri Krishna. In the south, it is celebrated as Naraka Chaturdashi. That story, probably many people are not aware. When Lord Krishna, with the help of Satyabhama, could win over the Asura, Nakasur. He was in Pragjyotishapur, which is called said to be the current Iraq. And so Narakasura was an Asura king, a king who was ruling that country with so much dictatorship and made people very miserable. And so when he was on his deathbed, he requested Lord Krishna that, as my last wish, I would like everyone to light lamps and celebrate my exit from the world. I had spread so much darkness. I brought so much darkness in the lives of people. So I regret for it. So I want everyone to light lamps. So Naraka Chaturdashi, then his son Bhagadatta was coronated as a king of Iraq. That is why the name Baghdad has come. The Baghdad comes from Bhagadatta, who is the son of Narakasur. And so this is what we hear from our ancient history, that Lord Krishna granted him that boon and then asked everyone to light lamps on Naraka Chaturdashi. Then Dhanteras. Dhanteras is very interesting. It's a very beautiful, psychologically uplifting and spiritually enlivening, rich experience. On Dhanteras, you keep all the wealth that you have at home, and everyone looks at the wealth and feel the abundance.
Right.
When we feel abundant in our consciousness, this poverty consciousness from the mind will go, and it boosts your self-confidence. It helps you to move forward with great enthusiasm. So Dhanteras is where you do puja, you pray to the divine to bestow you with more wealth, so that you can prosper and you can bring goodness to society as well.
This is very interesting.
So in Dhanteras, you may have a lot of money, but as long as it is not in your consciousness, you will still remain a person with lack, So that lack consciousness, that lack, tendency should vanish from you. Only then you can enjoy the wealth you have, and you can be generous also. Stinginess comes because of the lackness, sense of lackness. So to get over that, Dhanteras is celebrated. And in Diwali, not only lighting lamps, then we also put firecrackers. Why did this custom of firecrackers start? If you analyze this, it becomes quite obvious that it's a type of catharsis. When you feel like exploding, holding something back from the past, and when you see something being exploded, you feel some sense of freedom from inside. So that perhaps was the reason when people used to have firecrackers. But here I would say we don't need to do too many firecrackers and cause so much air pollution.
Yeah, this is an interesting question, Sri Sri Ravishankar ji, because many people are advocating a total ban on firecrackers, saying ban them entirely during the festival because this is costing the environment at the expense of propagating, a festivity which is sacred to Hindus. So, how do you see this?
I don't totally dismiss what they say. Of course, the Delhi, places like Delhi, Mumbai, not so much, really get trapped with the smoke and air pollution in those days. I would say you should minimize it, maybe make only 1/10 of it just for children, and that to those type of crackers which does not create too much smoke. There are many different types. We are in an age of technology, so we can be very innovative. We can have fireworks, but not create pollution. This is what we need to do instead of saying no fireworks at all. But technology has provided us with so many new ideas. We can create, we have through lights, we can have all these different Phuljadi Vaigara karte na, that one, and crackers, we can do crackers which doesn't create smokes. So some little bit of firecrackers should be part of the practice because it has been part of the practice from long time. I would say if you are putting 10 crackers, limit it to one.
Moderate.
Especially in places like Delhi and metropolitan areas where there is not enough air circulation.
So let me ask you.
World over on New Year Day, people display fireworks.
Yes, yes, yes.
So nobody talks on the New Year Day, oh, there should be no fireworks. I spent time on New Year Eve usually in Europe. In Germany, almost every village, they have huge fireworks. And of course, one day there is a lot of smoke, but then the next day it all gets blown away because there is wind, there is snow, and there is climate, is more conducive for that. But especially in Delhi, because the air is not circulating and it gets trapped, I think we will have to be very concerned about creating too much pollution. At the same time, keep the tradition alive. I wouldn't
keep
say
the tradition alive.
We
Because
should have
Sri Sri
total
ji,
ban on
obviously,
firecrackers.
a lot of people will say that if you are talking about environmental pollution, etc., there are other religions who observe other practices which are also contributing to pollution in different ways, but no one ever asks them to give up their traditions. So that is another, strain of conversation that does the rounds.
Yeah, well, no, whatever tradition one follows, we all must be very, very conscious about, preserving our environment.
Okay.
We should be conscious about.
So let me ask you, because you're a close observer of what's been happening across the country. Tell us what you made of the inauguration of the Mahakal corridor recently, and what do you believe this symbolizes, Sri Sri ji?
I mean, Mahakal, the renovation is a great pride. Ujjain, if you read our history, medieval history, Ujjain has been a center for learning and center for spiritual material progress. And many beautiful literature have come out from Ujjain. Bhartrihari, kings like Bhartriharis were there, and so Ujjain definitely needed a facelift. What you read in the history book and when you land up in Mahakal or Ujjain, it was no, there was huge difference. But today, this corridor has really given what was due to the glory of Ujjain. And both the central government and the Madhya Pradesh government has done such an excellent work. I think this is needed. This is very much needed. After Varanasi, Ujjain is also a very important center of our culture. And reviving that has really brought a lot of enthusiasm in young people. Yeah.
So, we are talking about places of worship, Sri Sri Ji, and there is a strong view that those places of worship integral to Hindus, which had previously been destroyed by invaders or during settler colonialism, should be handed back to the community. As someone who was part of the mediation process in Ayodhya as well, what's your view on this?
For every problem, definitely there is a solution which we can arrive at with consensus. I always believe in consensus, people sitting across the table and see what is important, what is not important, and then there should be a sense of give and take between the communities. Only that can, create goodwill on both sides.
There is a Place of Worships Act that was brought in by a Congress government that did not in any way further what you're saying, because it just suddenly legislatively stopped Hindus from even aspiring to getting back their places of worship. Do you believe that this Places of Worship Act is a obstacle and should be reviewed? Because there are grievances and you are advocating mediation, consensus, conversation. But with legislation such as this, there can't be any of this.
You're right. Though some of these acts, there are many laws that we need to revisit. And this could be one of that laws that, this is one of that laws that we have to revisit them and really think about it. Yeah. But it doesn't make much sense in one way, but it has to be seen with a very different angle now.
That's interesting. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji, there is this question, because many people say, okay, if you remove this Place of Worship Act, Hindus will start claiming, a numerous number of temples, etc., and there will be no end to the claims. So I've been speaking
to... That concern is very, very valid. Certainly you can... It's okay, Kashi is very important, Mathura is important. But if someone goes on saying every mosque underneath there is a temple and we need every mosque or every church, that is not fair. I don't think we should go in that direction of causing unnecessary fear and anxiety in the other community. Every place of worship should be respected, and anything that we need to achieve we can always, if it is very important, through dialogue, like Ayodhya, like Kashi, these are the Mathura, these are very, very important and historical place, and everyone knows wrong has been done in this place. And that could be set right, not with any vengeance or a sense of I win over another side of the community or take revenge because what happened to us 200 years back or 400 years back. That type of mentality is not dharmic, I would say. We have to, be broad-minded, as our scriptures say, Udara Charita Nam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is our main motto of India, is to say the whole world belongs to us. And for that, we have to be very broad-minded. And broad-minded means we have to sit and listen to the other side and dialogue and communication and put forth your wishes.
Sri Ravi Shankar ji, many people say that India is a land of rich diversity. Look at the Hindu tradition, it is very diverse. And the Hindu tradition itself subscribes to, at least the believers subscribe to, several prathas. So, who are we to dissuade adherents of different traditions from claiming what is theirs? So, why should it only stop at 1, 2, or 3 or 4 places? How can we say that, okay, one group gets, Shaivites get one set of, Vaishnavites get their set of temples, but the other prathas don't get? How does this work?
As I said, communities should come together, and dialogue is the way. I only believe. Same thing happened here in Baba Budangiri, where in Chikmagalur, where Dattapeeth was there. It was being worshipped as a Dattatreya's and Atri's cave. And also there was a mazar, and the Muslims were coming and worshipping it. And then there was dialogue, and then, now there is harmony. There was so much of the tension. Now all that has been resolved. So resolution of such in places of worship has to come from within. It cannot be forced, and forced one doesn't create a good taste, you see. They only create more bad blood in the process.
But what if one side, the other side, let's say, many people say that, you were involved in mediating between Hindus and Muslims when it came to Ayodhya, but it failed because the Muslim side said no, either our way or the highway. And many people say that Muslims have a different view on spirituality, on religion, and they believe that anyone who doesn't subscribe to their point of view is a kafir. So their views should not even be considered.
No, see, there are certain elements like that, but you cannot say the entire community is extremist. No community is totally extremist. There are some people of that side, but there are many others who are very sensible, who are very considerative, and we have to get along with people. And some people will always oppose for anything for their personal reasons, or misguided people are there, but you can't take them as representative of an entire community.
I want to ask you a little bit about what we are now witnessing, because the Prime Minister has been part of a rejuvenation of 4 or 5 places of importance when it comes to the Hindu faith and their rejuvenation. Would you say that India is in the midst of a great spiritual reawakening?
I mean, our Prime Minister has done such a wonderful work, in rebuilding Kedarnath and Kashi and Ayodhya, now the Mahakal temple and the Shakti Peeth in Gujarat, and many. I mean, you can see the infrastructures to all these pilgrim centers have improved tremendously. The roads have become better, transportation is much better now, and I mean, this should have been done long ago. I'm so glad that our Prime Minister has taken this, has heard the real need of the spiritual or religious need of people, and he has really acted on them. This was needed. See, now even in Bengal, our Durga Puja has been recognized by the world. And this as a cultural heritage, intangible religious and cultural heritage. Such things are, Vedic chanting has been now said the world heritage. So we need to preserve our roots. And our Prime Minister is doing excellent work in preserving our roots, whether it is encouraging the Sanskrit studies or ancient studies or even tribal culture. Our culture is not just only Hindu culture, but even the tribal culture. If you see Arunachal Pradesh, there are 10 different tribes. And they have their own Doni Polo and other different culture. A lot of encouragement is given to these tribal people as well. So this is something that we need to preserve. Of course, it's a world heritage, I would say.
But there are many people, and why do they say this, that the Prime Minister is doing all of this only to make India into a Hindu Rashtra, a kind of Hindu Pakistan? That's what they say. Where does this come from? And how do you view
many
it?
people, Rahul, many people say many things. And I don't wish to comment on everybody's comment. There will be nowhere. So, but one thing, the needs of people are taken care. Otherwise, people had so much difficulty going to the pilgrim places, and it is responsibility of the government to improve the infrastructure, to maintain the temple. When the resources of temple are going to government, it is obvious that the government should maintain the temple also. It's unlike the minority institutions. All the big temples, the funds are being managed by the government. Why wouldn't they ask that? All these years, all the temples are under the endowment ministry. And so it becomes part of the responsibility. It has been taken right from the very beginning to maintain the temples, and it was neglected. It's only they are doing their rightful duties now, and very well done. And that is what we need to appreciate, rather than say renovating temples become a Hindu thing. And it is not the government money they are doing. They are doing it with the public money which people have given to the temples, and which are totally managed by different state governments. For example, in Tamil Nadu, all the temple wealth are under the government, endowment board, endowment ministry, which is run by the government. So when you have a ministry in the government to take care of the wealth, you also should take care of the infrastructure and facilities, and that they are doing.
My last question to you, Sri Sri Ji. There are many other spiritualists who talk about the fact that temples should not be managed in a secular country by the state. What is your position on this?
Yes, if there is a good centralized board which could be independent, which can run all the temples, it would be an ideal thing to do. But till that time, the government is taking care of it, and government should mull into this, on this issue, that they can form a board or a committee which can take care of all the affairs of the Hindus. Like it is there for, you can see in, whether it is in the Christian faith or in the Buddhist faith, they're all organized religions. What happened here in the Hinduism is it's not an organized religion. So government had to run all these, many of the temples and religious places. But I think it's time now to form a suitable body. And like SGPC is there, which takes care of all Gurudwaras, there should be such a body to take care of all the temple affairs among the Hindus as well. Yeah.
Well, Sri Sri Ji, thank you very much for speaking to me on this great day of Diwali. Hope you have a wonderful celebration yourself, and God bless you, and of course, all those who follow you. Thank you very much.
Happy Diwali to every one of you, and to you too, Rahul Shivshankar.